Welcome back to another episode of The Rule of Two, where we stay up late. Well, some places we stay up late, like the UK or Europe. In the US, it's probably still early times right now. So I do envy them. I do indeed. But anyway, we're back with this live show where we're going to answer all of your questions, all those burning questions that you may have. We may have not got any content drops this week, but I'm sure we have a lot of questions that you guys want to ask us. So starting off, joining me, we have, as always, Warrior.
What's happening?
How
Are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's like 12 a.m. on the dot right here. I've still got my galactic war to go through, so I'm not going to let that occupy me tonight. But yeah, other than that, I'm feeling great. You know, it's been a good day with the kids. Yeah, about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. I'm just hanging at work and I figured I'd hop on the call because it's completely dead here. So I figured I would hop on and, check out the audience and see what questions they had for us.
Definitely. And joining me again is Sir Loki, the lightsaber entrepreneur.
I appreciate it. Thank you for that intro. Actually, just a builder, so.
Okay, guys. It's Sir Loki, just a builder.
Thank you. I'm good, man. I'm also at work. I'm ducked into a conference room and I'm facing the door and it looks like I'm working. So I'm anxious to answer some questions and I'm happy to be here.
Does anyone ever walk into your room?
Knock on wood, no, not yet.
Hopefully it's
book
not
it on
tonight.
Calendar, so the company's got a calendar, and I reserve it for an hour or an hour and a half or whatever, and pray nobody walks in.
That's sweet. You can always pull out your lightsaber if you know. Hey, anyone, you shall not pass. So how it works, guys, for you viewers at home, or you may be at work, ducked off in another conference room, maybe just down the office from Sir Loki himself. Maybe you've got the same idea just to watch this show. But how it works is if you can put at the Smithie D or at Warrior or question, so we can highlight it, that we can see it, it's going to make the job 10 times easier for us to get to your questions and make sure, more importantly, that we're not missing out. So I'm going to start off a question for the panel straight away. While I look through questions, I'm going to let the guys talk between themselves. And I'm going to go with Warrior first. And this question is to Warrior. What are you most excited about that you'd like to see in the game?
So, new content that I'd like to see in the game. That's a really good question. It has gotten just a tiny bit stale, and so a new, section in the game that they've talked about bringing in would be really fun. I don't know how they're going to implement it, but something like Guild versus Guild would be super fun. Again, they're going to have to make sure that that it's not susceptible to cheaters. It'll have to be done server side. And I don't know how they're going to do Guild versus Guild server side, or even if that's a possibility, but that's something I think would be a lot of fun.
Agree, man. That's an awesome. I'm more excited for Luke Skywalker. You know, hopefully we're going to see the rest of his journey continue in the next episode, and hopefully that episode's going to be somewhat of like Empire Strikes Back. What about you, Sir Loki?
I agree. I want to see. I mean, honestly, I'm tired of fighting the same people in arena for this long. It's been going on almost 2 years now. So it would be nice to, if they have the capability of rotating or something, or having some kind of like what Warrior set up, a Guild versus Guild PvP, or just something different, because I'm fighting the same people all the time. And then the other thing I really want is I'd like more ship content. If they're going to do PvE or more ship events, or something along the lines of legendary event where you get a legendary ship, right? I'd like to do something like that, because they obviously invested a lot of time in ships, but beyond the PvP and all the little challenges and stuff, that's it.
Agree, man. That's a very good call, that is. So we're going to go with this first question. This one's from Victor. I don't know if it's a troll question or a serious question, but hey, it's a Q&A, so we're going to go from Victor. The question is, what do you guys do for a living? And I would like to know, other than the lightsaber building, Loki, what do you do? I can imagine you like in this big executive office.
No, I will. I will mention I work for a major automotive manufacturer sales office in the U.S. And I do parts and marketing and service. So it's all the little perks you see in the dealerships where they have like, hey, get an oil change for $20 or something like that. So I'm along that lines. I work in parts and service marketing for a major automotive manufacturer sales office.
Nice. What about you, buddy Worry? I know you've said before on streams.
Yeah, so I manage a Sleep Number store. We're a bed company. We sell mattresses and whatnot, and I manage a Sleep Number store in Colorado, and I do that. I work between 60 to 80 hours a week, so about 100 to 140 hours per week at work. Been working 6 days a week the last couple of weeks. It's just been Memorial Day is like a big mattress day. I don't know why, but the mattress industry hijacked that holiday from the holiday, but it's what it is. So I manage the store, but in management I also do sales. So I do sales and manage the location. So that's what I do. Keeps me busy for sure.
Nice. Mine's not exciting as you guys. I used to work for Toyota. I've worked for energy companies. Done lots of its and bits and bobs kind of thing growing up. But yeah, YouTube is pretty much what I'm doing right now. Maybe it wasn't the best career choice, but hey, I love it. It doesn't really pay well, but hey, it allows me to spend time with my kids mainly, and that's seeing them grow up. That is one of the best things ever. But yeah, we all got to work. But we're going to go on to the next question, and I'm going to give this one to you, Warrior, because I know that, me and you have seen a lot of the Ahsoka, and we've discussed about the lineups and potential lineups. But I'm going to throw it at you, and this is from Nathan Robinson. What arena lineups do you think Fulcrum Ahsoka fits best in once she drops? You there, Warrior? We'll pass it over to you, Loki, and we'll come back. Oh, actually, Warrior's back. He's back.
I'll come back to this question about Ahsoka here in just 1 second. Hold on.
Okay, go for it, Loki. So, did you want me to repeat the question, buddy?
No, it's cool. So it's what arena lineups does Ahsoka fit in? Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, if you were theory crafting right now, and from what you've seen, if you've watched our videos, you'd have seen pretty much the same footage of what we've seen and what everyone else would have seen. Where do you think she could potentially get the biggest benefit from?
Sure. So, the one thing that comes to mind, all of us have been playing the game for a while, so we've kind of seen the metas kind of shift. I mean, it's going, back in the day it was, DPS, it was, the old Poe, Sidious lead with IG-88, AoE metas and dodge metas and all that stuff, right? So the way I see Ahsoka, Fulcrum Ahsoka right now is she is like Rey. She's like the second coming of Rey, and she's gonna just be a powerhouse DPS. So I see her sliding into a lot of those roles on a team. So just kind of going off the top of my head, I can really see her doing well. There's that Wedge, R2D2, General Kenobi Chase team that's kind of running around right now. So, you could easily substitute her into that lineup in terms of who to drop. I've been playing around with like a Wigs lineup again, kind of like Wedge, Biggs, Darth Nihilus, General Kenobi, R2D2, and she could slide in for like Darth Nihilus' spot because I think we're all anxiously waiting for Darth Nihilus to get nerfed if he does. So she's gonna serve that dual purpose of the big damage and possibly the instant kill. So I see her with that. I could also see her with like Jin, the Rogue One Rebels, kind of working with that team, and then kind of just thinking outside the box. I mean, I could see her slide into a some kind of Empire or a Sith team as well. I mean, she could be that fifth spot that you need the damage, right? I'm personally playing with like a Resistance team right now, so I'm doing a Zeta Finn lead with Poe, R2D2, General Kenobi, and Darth Nihilus. But then, for me, I might slide her into the Darth Nihilus spot. I don't know. So definitely, she is very versatile, and she can go into that role for the big damage dealer, kind of like what Rey was doing back in the day, right? When she was put in there into a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
And she was the big damage deliverer, and she was doing her thing.
Definitely. I'm still quite a little bit saddened that Rey still isn't that viable anymore in the arena, because she was a great character with that damage she does. And yeah, definitely Ahsoka's going to be Rey 0.20, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I mean, she's really a bigger upgrade than Rey. I mean, she is. She can cleanse herself. She does all the weird things with the buffs, and then she deals a lot of damage, right? And she synergizes with the Rebel leads, which is a big plus. I mean, Rey was missing. She can only have a synergy with the Resistance leads, right? And there's only one, or I mean, Poe's a leader too, but I mean, nobody used Poe lead, right? But but my only worry with her is I just hope she doesn't go the route of Rey, and we see her a lot longer.
True.
Because the other characters are just getting better. I mean, the kits are getting better. People are getting reworks, and I'm totally excited for her, but at the same time, I'm going to be a little cautious. I'm going to wait for other people to kind of max her out. I'm going to see how she does.
Definitely. What about you, Warrior?
So the traditional triple cleanse team, that's like the number one team in the game, that team would definitely, you could take out Darth Nihilus, put her in, because she's going to definitely replace Darth Nihilus. She has a strong basic like he does, and she has a almost insta-kill, if not insta-kill, with her attack. So she could fit in with Nihilus. And the only thing about Nihilus is he's got that Dispel on basic, which she doesn't have, so that's pretty dope. But she could also fit into a Rogue One team, like he said, like Sir Loki said, and then of course Jedi. I think that she'd do really well. Any team that gets a lot of buffs, she's going to do well in. And the only team that I've heard that does a lot of buffs that she would work really well in is the Sith team, because the difference between Sith Assassin getting like 6 unique buffs and also having so many crazy buffs over him, he just gets a ton. They're kind of a team that could do that. So, but the only problem with Sith is, for me, that I don't see it synergizing well, is there's not a whole lot of healing type capability. So she's gonna die anyway. She kind of commits suicide keeping herself clean, and so there's that. The second is Savage, most of his buffs are going to be the same buff over and over, heal over time. And for Sith Assassin, she's kind of like Ahsoka. So what they do is they self buff themselves, right? That she steals them, and Sith Assassin puts her own up. But then they immediately take them off with their special ability to do extra damage. Sith Assassins, whatever it's called, where she throws a lightning bolt that does crazy damage to health only, does 20 to 25k straight to health, but it removes every buff she has, and she's really, really fast. And so she's going to buff herself and then use that ability pretty quick. And I'm not sure if it'll be around long enough for Ahsoka to steal it from her to use it. So I don't see the Sith being viable. I really think that she's going to have to be on a team that has a couple of things. One, tenacity up, and this is why tenacity up on her, on Ahsoka, will keep her from ever getting debuffs in the first place, which will keep her from losing any health, because she loses health with those debuffs. And so if you don't want her to just kind of commit suicide, she needs that tenacity up. The second is you probably would want a healer, something like Barriss, because if she is starting to kind of go lower and lower and lower and lower, you at least would be able to get her to be able to be healed by the healer. And when the opposing team crits on her, she may just, in fact, be better off with them hitting her and gaining life from them hitting her because of Barris's unique Zeta. And you might not even worry about her health loss because they may give you her health back through critting her. You know what I mean? So I've thought about that. I'm like thinking, well, if I have her with Barris, every time she gets hit, she's going to gain life. So you know what I mean? So I don't know. There's a lot of options, but I think a healer and a tenacity up like Rex is almost necessary. So I think a triple cleanse team would work really well, and sticking her in that, something like that would be probably the strongest. It's just she won't get the most buffs, but you're probably, if you get a team that has like 7 to 11 buffs on her, you're probably going to be weak in another area. So it's kind of a balancing act.
Definitely. And what is it? The event is tomorrow, isn't it?
It's like in 8 hours. I think I might even stay up tonight, play it tonight. I don't know. It depends on how. I'm pretty dang excited. I have every piece of gear for her from level 1 to gear level 11 maxed. I have enough credits, 10 million credits to get her to level 85 today. And this will be the first time in history for myself that when a character's in a character pack, that I'm actually going to go in on that character pack all the way till she's 7 stars. I'm going to film it so that way people can see me waste my money and they can see how much money it takes to waste. And I'll admit right off the bat, this is going to be a waste of probably $250. But she's the first character, and probably the last, but first character I've ever done that for. And I'm pretty excited about getting her and maxing her out.
Yeah, man. I wish I had that sort of money because she does look amazing. She does look pretty cool. She does seem the answer to if they do change Nihilus, which they said that it is a bug on him. Then yeah, I could see that Nihilus isn't going to be as viable because you could just pop off General Kenobi instantly with Ahsoka or Baze, completely change the odds. Once those characters are gone in a team, while it's mainly General Kenobi, Baze you could just leave alone. General Kenobi, once he's gone, the whole team is just open and just picking who you want to attack. So I'm going to get to the next question, and I'm going to put this one to you, Warrior, then if there's anything that Loki wants to put in on it. But this is from Hans the One Guy. Is using a Palpatine lead still viable? Oh
yeah, he's still arguably one of the best, if not the best, Sith/Empire leaders. He's got a multitude of benefits he gives both Sith and Empire, and he's been a classic staple. And he's arguably better than a Darth Vader lead because with Darth Vader under him, Darth Vader gets to debuff and then instantly use this Culling Blade and then instantly do an ability block basic. And so he gets like 3 turns in a row, whereas with him under himself, while his buffs stick and they don't go away, he's slow. He's really slow to take and stuff, even if you buff up his speed. And so Darth Vader lead is pretty cool, but I think Emperor Palpatine's even better if you're running Darth Vader. And, the other ones still remain to be seen. We're talking about, Director Krennic and General Veers and Grand Moff Tarkin. They're all 3 really good leaders, better than average, but overpowered. I don't know if I would ever use that word to describe any of those 3. If you have General Veers in a very specific team, he can be overpowered, but it takes a lot of very specific characters to make up a team. And when I think of Emperor Palpatine, you could stick him as a leader of any team and toss anyone behind him. And as long as you have, a couple Empire like a TFP and a Darth Vader, the other 2 could be anyone you want, and it's a team.
Yeah, because
TFP goes crazy too. Darth Vader and TFP, they're gonna go like 3 times in a row underneath Emperor Palpatine. So those are great characters to have under an Emperor Palpatine lead. And if you're looking for a fast, high damage team, those 3 are high damage for Empire.
Definitely, because the main thing that moved a lot of people away from an Emperor Palpatine was either the Vader Zeta lead or the whole Maul meta. Because of the whole Days issue, where it kind of ruins an Emperor Palpatine lead quite easily. What do you think, Sir Loki?
For me, it just depends where you're at in arena. I think it's viable to a certain point, and then I think if you get to like top 20 or something, it's just for me, like on my chart, it's just not viable. I mean, you don't, you can go to the SWGOH.gg site and you'll see the top leaders, and Palpatine just wasn't. I feel like he wasn't what he was back in the day, because there's just a lot of better leads, and and also I'm speaking out of Empire as well. But I mean, for me personally, I still like Zader lead myself. I like the offense, and I like the turn meter reduction that can't be, if it, the turn meter reduction, it's a 20 or 30%, but it says it can't be resisted. So you can literally slow down the whole team, which it's still viable, at least on my chart.
Definitely. And well, thanks Virtual Gaming World for the donation. He actually asked me to come in and do some streams with us one time. See if we can get him on for next week or something. But yeah, big thank you for the donation, buddy. $5, man. That's awesome. The question I've got: have you guys played with Sabine yet, or seen Sabine to a great deal? Any used to?
I haven't. Personally, I haven't. There isn't anybody on my arena chart either that's using her. I think everybody's just waiting for her to go free to play, and then probably see more of her.
What about you, Warrior?
I have her gear 9, and I've got enough gear to take her to gear 10, but she's the second best out of that team in my opinion of characters that came out, and I think Armor Shred hasn't been fully realized as an ability. I just don't think that we've done enough theory crafting, because there's been nobody to like beta test it or anything, and there's not enough people that maxed her out that really know. And I don't think she's going to end up being in a team for Arena. I think she's going to be in a raid, and she's going to have a phase where something about her, if you can protect her, she'll continue to shred the armor, and then every character will be doing significantly more damage. And I see her as having a place long term with that armor shred ability, but like I said, without the theory crafting capability that most of the time we have, it's really made it hard for anyone to see her viability.
Definitely, yeah, because the question come from Martin Waterman, and the question actually was, is Sabine going to be good in either raid? In my opinion, what I've seen of her, it's very, very difficult to determine. I've only seen her in a Phoenix squad, and the armor shred wasn't put onto the main hall, I don't think. Or it was, and it didn't really make much of a difference, but she was a Phoenix squad. So Phoenix squad are underwhelming as a team, so they're underwhelming anyway, but I think if she's in a Rebel team with like Chase and Wedge and Biggs, I think she could do and bring a lot of serious damage to the AAT. But I think it could work, yeah. But she, like Warrior said, she's going to need to have that team, that backing around her. And I just don't think Phoenix are viable for the AAT. They're just awful. Well, not awful.
It's funny. I was actually thinking a phase 2 or phase 4 Rebel team with a Wedge lead, Biggs, Chirpin Bays, and then having her. That's actually why I was gearing her up, was for that exact team to test her out in 2 and 4. For anyone who's kind of more free to play, but see, she's not free to play, so that's why I haven't really. Plus, I have to get her up, and I'm not. The only characters I don't have 7-starred are the 8 characters that came out during that time, because they're still not farmable.
Yeah. They should be farmable in about 3 weeks, maybe. Hopefully, 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks.
I hope so.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I don't know who I'll buy from them, or who to get from the shard shop.
I'm going all in on Zeb, man. Seriously.
Yeah, Zeb. Oh man, he's amazing.
I like his kit.
Yeah.
I actually like his kit a lot. Going back to the Sabine question too. I mean, with Ahsoka coming too, it's like, I almost, I don't know. She kind of went obsolete after. I mean, she didn't even come out yet, and she's already obsolete with Ahsoka coming out. I mean, she's got the ignored target defense, and she's gonna.
Yeah, she's like a Ahsoka Light.
Yeah.
It's like Budweiser, and then there's Bud Light. There's Ahsoka, and there's Ahsoka Light, and Sabine will be like an Ahsoka Light with those 5 little piddly hits.
Yeah,
well, it's kind of like Kanan too, right? He's like Obi-Wan Jr., right? He's General Kenobi Jr., so he's not quite a General Kenobi, but Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, honestly.
That's fair enough. All right. So the next question, and this is actually quite a good question, and this is something that I actually get asked quite a lot, and I'm sure Warrior, maybe Loki as well, you get asked. And this one is from Buster Caps. Love the name. Who should be my first Zeta? I am one away from having the necessary 20. I'll throw this at Loki first because I know you've gone a different route. You didn't follow the meta. You didn't even do Mole. I did Mole, but that was before he was actually the kind of like dog of the arena for a little while.
I don't. I apologize. I'm not following the question channel, but is there any mention of his roster at all, or is it just?
That's a very good point. No. But okay, let's say if you had all the free to play. So if you've got Vader, Vader's had Tweak. He doesn't do what he does. Clones. If you wanted to give maybe a top three, if we go there with a top three of who you do and why.
Okay, so I'm actually going to go out on a limb. Xylo's there in my top three. Obviously, I think he's still useful. They also say they're going to make an adjustment to phase 1 of the heroic tank, but they didn't do it yet. They did it to the new team, but not him yet. So he's definitely viable for climbing the arena and all these aspects of the game. But actually, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm actually going to say Finn at this point, and this is the reason, is because there's been an emergence of a lot of good resistance heroic tank teams. They're in the arena now, and I believe everybody's free to play. And you can easily do, I'm seeing screenshots of like 8-9 million in the tank now. They're also a viable phase 3 team, and that I have a obsession with phase 3 and doing big damage in that. So they're I saw a screenshot earlier today. It's like 4.5 million, 5 million in phase 3, which is pretty insane. But paired with R2D2 now, it's a really fun team. Having him and Poe and R2D2, and I think it because R2D2 made the resistance just 10 times better. But going back to the original question, I mean, my top three would probably be, Vader's still up there, so I'd say Vader, maybe Kylo, and I'd actually suggest looking at Finn, honestly.
Good choice, my man. What about you, Warrior?
So, it depends on whether you're going arena or whether you're going raids. And if you're going raids, I think Cody's probably your best bang for your buck because, you're guaranteed to be able to toss him and get anywhere from 2 to 4 million pretty easily. All you got to do is have a fast Cody and kind of have the wherewithal of knowing how to run that team. But clones, even though they're technically free to play, take forever to get to 7 stars because if a lot of them come out of the same places, and you kind of have to wait for them to drop, and then there's competition with them plus the other dark side like Darth Mauls and things like that and Rex. And so I don't know, clones are good, so Cody used one, but I still can pretty much almost completely, I can get 10 million, I can almost clear the Rancor still with my Darth Vader. And so even if you say Darth Vader's been, reduced in his ability, he still provides a huge damage output, which will put you in the top 5, top 10 of your teams and give you better rewards. And if those rewards will help you across the board with gearing your characters. And so, Vader's probably, and he's usable in arena and most shards, as long, in Sith Assassin's completely free to play. So you could put her under him, make him really fast. And there'll be a couple of teams that you might hiccup against, but most of those teams that would get you are the Maul teams, and those are kind of fading now. They're starting to fade away and be switched over. So,
yeah, man.
And Kylo's
oh my
good
God,
too.
who just walked in?
Not Ranger.
Rangers.
Are you playing with your lightsaber again?
Hey, no dirty talk in this
No,
chat.
I'm actually driving. Traffic has been brutal today, so I'm just now trying to get home.
You sound like Riemann.
You sound like someone's punched you in the mouth.
Nah, no one's stupid enough to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had a tooth pulled out from the dentist. Do you know, like your mouth's swollen?
Nah, I'm on the road. Bluetooth through my car, so
I got you.
that's probably why I sound a little different. So I'm on my way home. I thought this started at 8 Eastern, but I got distracted with work, so it's like, oh my god.
Was you playing with your lightsaber?
Oh yes, that thing's amazing. Holy cow. I mean, it's just incredible. And all you guys are turds. I had no idea that was going to happen. Loki especially. Oh yeah, mine makes that one look like a little kid's toy.
Yeah, it does. This is old now. This is the one I've got is a I think it was like a 2007 Mark IV. I think it was. It was the last of the FX series before they went to the Black series.
Let's convert it, man. They sell conversion kits for that.
I don't really play with that much. It's normally I used to just scare the kids with it. That's it. That's it. I've had it for years. I picked it up. You know what? Right? There was a time when they were selling them for £25 over here, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, why didn't I pick up 4 of the Mace Windows and 4 of the Return of the Jedi? Because they're easily worth about £500-600 now each.
Yep.
The Mace Windu,
yeah.
that one there is probably, I think it's one of the most expensive ones, the Mace Windu saber.
Yeah, those things go for a lot.
But I've got the box, but I've lost the stand to it. I never really used it. But I'm going to go into this question from Felipe, and I'm going to put this one Warrior first, if that's okay. So, I'm using Rex Lead with Wiggs, Han, Stormtrooper Han, and Palpatine. I have a good clones. Is there any comp that I should use more clones at the arena? So I'm going to repeat that. And at the minute, there's a lot of feedback coming from your Ranger, I think.
Okay, let me see if I can do something about that.
So I'm using Rex Lead with Wiggs, Stormtrooper Han, and Palpatine. But I have a good clones. Is there any comp that I may use more clones at the arena? I don't think clones are really that viable anymore in the arena. They had their kind of like bit time, you know, like they can definitely be pulled off if you've got some really, really stellar mods, but they lack speed, you know. And with Nihilus around, what do you guys input on this, Loki? Do you think they just don't do what they used to? I think the arena, the meta has completely changed with all these new characters that makes them kind of obsolete in the arena.
Yeah, well, I mean, they lack a taunt, right? And the only way you can get a taunt out of the clones is you got to run General Kenobi lead. So, you know, there were a couple guys on my shard, they started bringing back General Kenobi lead with Fives and Barriss, R2-D2 and Darth Nihilus or something like that, and you know, that's the only way I can see the clones being viable. Is unfortunately they can't be together. They got to run with other tunes to make up for what they lack as a group. And I think the number one thing they lack is either an auto taunter or a taunt. They just don't have it with a Rex lead or a Cody lead. That's the issue I see.
Definitely, man. Definitely. 100% agree on that. What about you, Warrior?
They also don't do enough damage, and I know that they can do like 6 million damage in raids, but you get a full clone team, and then what happens is somebody puts in a Zeta Barriss, and you'll never get through that team in 5 minutes. Never. Because there's not anyone on the clones, even though clones can hit for a lot, like, you know, Clone Sergeant can hit for 15k and things like that. I mean, that's a lot of damage, yeah, but those are specials, things like that. And, you know, but their basics don't do a whole lot, and that's what they're doing the majority of the time. And they just don't have enough cut-through power. You know, they just don't have that insta-kill capability like a Boba Fett, a Nihilus, or a Ahsoka. And so because they can't do that, they end up just becoming a stalemate team for most arenas. But yeah, not having a tank, they're easily picked off. I had a guy that's like sold out clones on my shard, and he had it overpowered, and he had his Cody Zeta, and he had, you know, his 5 Zeta, and he has them all maxed out and total max. I mean, everything was maxed and fast. And but they were tough. Like, don't get me wrong, they were hard for me to beat. They took, me 4 minutes to beat it. Of course, that was before there were 4 times speed, but he couldn't beat people very easily himself. He constantly had to do substitutions and bring new characters in because my Zeta Barris prevented him from ever getting through a single character of mine.
Definitely, because all those assists from, is it the, I can't remember what attack it's, is it the 12 and 12 attack? I can't remember, but Cody's special attack anyway, with all the assists, it's just going to be Christmas for anyone that's running a Zeta Barris, because it's just going to, and that's it, they're just going to heal. You're going to have one big attack come in, and then the rest are going to be under the attack of what they're healing, and yeah, it's just bad news Barrett. If you're running a Rex lead now, I think your team's, pretty well. Maybe look at, if you've got Nihilus will fit quite good in your team. That is where I'd go. At the minute, I'm running a Rex lead like most people are, because it works, sometimes, in the arena, if you don't want to sit there doing 6 or 7 battles and then you just put one team in, you just leave it there, do your payout, move along. But there's definitely other guys that will experiment and do lots of teams. I know Loki and Warrior, they do lots of different teams. I know Warrior's had Rogue One. He's had his Qui-Gon Jinn lead of recent. Loki's had his Nihilus, his Vader. What else you been running, Loki?
Just as of recent, I've been experimenting again with Wedge lead. Just bringing back the DPS. I mean, it's something I've missed it, and I forget. It's like, holy crap! Like you can still do the bigs with Wedge, and the third guy is gonna come in, and it's gonna. I think True right now, right? If they calls True for the assist, I mean that's like 80k in damage right there, right? If it all. So you can easily one-shot everybody with the bigs special, right? So kind of missed that. I didn't see it in a while. I mean, it's been a while. But yeah, I'm experimenting with that because, I'm anticipating Ahsoka, Fulcrum Ahsoka as well. So, try and wedge lead. And then just recently I tried it, I'm trying to do the Zeta Finn lead. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. So this question is for Warrior. So you do 60 to 80 hours per week and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. When do you sleep?
Well, so that's a really interesting question. Because I got a wife, I've got 4 kids. I do YouTubing on the side, and I play games. The reason why I can actually play and do some of my YouTubing is because my job, while I'm at work for 60 to 80 hours, I'm not busy, i.e. I'm on your call right now at work. Like, I'm not actually working, even though I'm at work. God, I hope my boss never plays this game and watches this channel.
What's his name and address?
Right? But so that's how I get my gaming in and some of my YouTubing in and stuff. And then some of it I do at home. But yeah, he asks me when I'm working or when I'm sleeping. I actually had an entire conversation with a coworker today. He said he was asking me about the next game or the next event. And I said, well, it's coming at 1:00 in the morning for me. And I said, so my question is, do I stay up until 1, do the event and record it all and be done at 3 a.m. and then go to bed and get up at 6:30 a.m. for work and get 3 hours of sleep? Or do I go to bed early, knowing the event's going to happen and all like excited like a kid in Christmas Eve or whatever, and try to sleep early, wake up at 3 a.m. and then do the event from like 3 to 6 recording it and then come to work at 8. You know what I mean? Like I had an actual legit conversation today trying to figure out just one day right now, trying to figure out how I'm going to get sleep and how I can get more than 3 hours tonight and still be able to do the YouTubing and stuff. So if people think I'm not dedicated, they're full of crap, because this is definitely something I'm constantly struggling with to try to figure out balance. There's sometimes when it's like, you know what, family comes first, and I shut down for a couple of days. But my family right now is camping because I'm at work, and so since they're camping and having fun, I get a little bit of time to myself. So I got to decide how I'm going to do that. But I don't know. I don't get a lot of sleep. I get probably 5 or 6 hours most nights, and I love naps. So
Sleep's overrated.
That's very true.
But Warrior also gets to test out the new mattresses when they come in, so I'm envious.
I do mattress store, so there is that. course, I'd be fired if I ever fell asleep, so that wouldn't be a good thing.
On the mattress.
But nobody realizes how important a bed is. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you spend 6 hours every day, at least minimum 5 hours, 6 hours of your life in a bed, right?
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people too. I go, why do you buy a cheap bed, right? You gotta buy a good bed because you spend half your life in the bed. So, I totally get it. It's a good thing.
True that, man. True that. So, this is quite an important question, and I'm going to throw this one straight at Ranger if you're still in here, buddy, and you can hear us all. By the way, how's my mic?
It sounds like you're talking normally.
Cool. You know, got the same mic as Warrior now, a Blue Yeti. Oh yeah.
Wow, look at you moving up in the world.
Blue sent it to me because they're great guys, and they sent me the headset as well to sponsor my channel, which is awesome. Loving it, and I think they're sending me a pop filter as well, just to make better quality videos for you guys because they watch my stuff and they love it. But this question is from Kento Marek. Hi Smithie, is Zeta Dooku under a Darth Nihilus lead? Yes or no?
So a Zeta, Dooku, and a Darth Nihilus lead. I would kind of back off a little bit on that because, you know, they've got the change coming up that they're looking at fixing Nihilus. We still don't know what that's going to really, how it's going to affect. I mean, we kind of looked at it, but, you know, Darth Nihilus, I mean, as a support character will be good, but as a lead, especially with, I wouldn't do it.
No.
You know, just you're running the risk of making this investment and then being like, "Gah!" You know, as all the people cried out in pain as Vader was changed. You know, so I mean that happens. It's a game. You know, there's going to be changes like that and updates and fixes. It is the nature of what it is. But I would hold off on that team and look somewhere else.
Yeah, like the Zeta on Dooku doesn't bring anything to a Nihilus lead really. It's minimal.
No.
It's a bad
It
investment.
doesn't even work on Nihilus lead. Dooku only gains protection back on that, really, and that's its main staple, and it doesn't work underneath Nihilus.
Yeah, that's a waste of a Zeta. I've also got a question from Craig, and I'm going to throw this one at Loki, and then we'll pass it around so you can all have this kind of like chime in on this one because it's a good question, and we're probably all going to have different opinions on it. Will Ahsoka, so Fulcrum Ahsoka, be viable in a top tier arena at 4-star? That's a
Okay, so I think Ranger and I had this conversation last night on his stream, but it was I think
We did.
Yeah, I think the idea right now is because she's an attacker, she needs all the stars she can get. She needs to be 7-star to do big damage because that's going to affect her base stats. If she was kind of like a tank, you know, or a support character like Chirrut or Baze or something like that where they didn't have to attack to be viable, I would say yes. But I think in her case, she needs to be starred up. What do you guys think?
Go for it, Warrior.
All right, so there's kind of a bit of a problem with her. She's an attacker, and there's two things that an attacker needs. They need to be able to hit hard, and they need to be able to survive. And that's two things that are damaged. Her health is only 14,000 when she's a 3-star, only 15,000 when she is a 4-star, but she gets over 18,500 when she's at 7-star. So you're losing, 3,000 to 4,000 health on her base health. And that's what the mods are going to go off of, this base health. And then for physical damage, which is where, and her special damage isn't used, her physical damage goes from 2,000 to almost 2,600 when she's actually maxed out. And so you lose 600 offense. Like, think about that in terms of, like, that's 1/5 of all the damage. So if she's doing a hit that does, 10K, that's 2,000 damage less on a basic. That's significant in a long battle. And when you think about her special, where she does, multiple hits over and over and over, take 20% of the damage out. If you were going to do 50,000, you're now doing only 38,000. I mean, it may be the difference between a finishing blow and critting somebody and damaging them critically and causing another tank to taunt and then them surviving. I don't know. It really, with her, it makes a huge difference because she's not a tank. Because protection stays the same from 3-star on up for every character. So for tanks, they're much more viable. But really, that's what I see. The other thing, because her tenacity, her armor penetration, all that stays the same. But they have a critical rating, a physical critical rating. It's like what percentage that their physical damage can go. And she's insane at like 700 critical rating. It's over 700, which is like 7 times the damage. So 2,600 times 7. That's why she does so much damage. And that is couple hundred less. It's like 5 times versus 7 times. Her resistance is lower, which isn't as good. So, her armor's not as good. She's not viable is what I'm trying to say. So I just wanted to go through some of those basics, but yeah, she needs the stats from those extra stars, whereas a tank doesn't.
Definitely. What about you, Ranger?
Because damage and health don't matter.
No, that's it.
No, I mean, everything they said is what we said yesterday in our stream. Is that you're going to need her 7 stars. I mean, it's the same conversation because we were asked kind of the same question, her viability. And she's just different. Attackers are different. They're there for their damage. And if you can't get the damage, then just wait. I mean, I think when she gets 7 stars with the right team, we were kind of thinking about what teams to put her in. Yeah, definitely she'll be viable. But she's one of those characters that you're going to have to get the stars and gear and everything first to be effective. And you have to put her in the right team, because she's going to need those buffs and other things. So, just be patient. The wells will probably buy them. And by wells, I mean Warrior and Grande. And they'll buy them. And then we can see how they work. And then they'll do awesome videos. And so you, Smithie. And then we'll see what to do.
With Ahsoka, I would probably also suggest, if there's anybody that's on the fence about a 4-star, if you have a Gear 11 4-star Ezra, put him in to a Rebel team, and you'll see and if you wanted to have a look at, when you're doing a battle, his survivability, she has pretty much the same stats as him. And yeah, as the guys said, that in this day and age, everyone's now moving towards triple cleanses, or they're having this and that. One hit from Sharut special under a wedge lead, one AoE is probably going to be a crippling blow to a 4-star character. That's any attacker. And if we're talking top tier, a lot of people are switching over to the wedge lead, and you'll see a Sharut do a crit on his special for like 46k. That's your Ahsoka gone. She's dead. She's not surviving that. So yeah, I think that little bit extra health, and especially with the cleansing that she's doing as well, she needs all the stats that she can get. I just don't think 4-star would be viable in my arena. Definitely not in Warriors arena, and definitely not in Loki's or Rangers. But if you are a new starter or your shard's very variable, then yeah, you could probably get away with it if you've got a solid team around her. But you're still going to need to have General Kenobi. You're still going to need to have like a Sharut and Baze if you want to be top tier with a 4-star. And then it opens a whole nother round of, if you've got those characters, you're not going to need a 4-star Ahsoka.
That's true, but I was just going to say the only people listening to this that should probably seriously consider like leveling her up and gearing her up as fast as possible is anyone that's on a shard that's less than 4 months old, because you're still developing characters. There's a lot of bigs with no wedge. There's a lot of non-General Kenobis. No General Kenobis exist on a lot of starts. And so a 3-star character that can hit like, Rey, but at 3 stars is someone who, even at 3 stars, if you want to invest the $19 to get her to 4 stars, would be worth it, because it would give her that extra little viability you would need her to. But if you're on a developed shard and you're on any shard that's more than 6 months old, you probably should. But if you're on a newer, like less than 6-month-old shard, you probably could run her pretty effectively. I mean, these are same teams that are still running, a Chewie lead. So, you know what I mean? And Lando's just barely starting to get action in these teams. And this is one of those characters you can plug in and do very well with.
Definitely. So, with got a question from Faveman. I want to build a Rex lead. I don't know what the rest says. Barut with 2 other characters.
That's a different name for Chase.
Pardon? Oh, so it's
just a different. Instead of Chase, it's Barut.
All right, I've never heard that one before. So sorry, my bad, Faveman. So I want to build a Rex lead Chase with 2 other characters. Who will be the best to put in? P.S. He doesn't have General Kenobi. We'll go with this one, Sir Loki, then we'll go round again.
So he doesn't have General, so he's missing the double tank, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you could, I still like Boba Fett. Boba Fett Nihilus would be cool, with those 2. Boba Fett, for the empty 2 spots, right? Or like Boba Fett, Zeta Kylo, or
what about Shaw?
I mean, I don't think. I'm sorry.
What about Shaw Trooper?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could. I mean, he is an auto taunter. He can heal. He'll give your guys crit immunity, so that's very Kenobi-esque. But there's people on my shard. They do run that team. It's a Rex lead with Chase and they put like 2 attackers or 2 instant kills together. So the Boba and the Nihilus are like even Zeta Kylo or something like that.
Well,
so
yeah, R2 as well. R2's a great choice.
Yeah, if he's got R2, yeah, definitely. I would definitely run him.
Yeah, because he's like, he could do the soft taunt, can't he, with his stealth?
Yes. Yeah, so R2 could slide in there. It's a good core to start with. I mean, the big 3 are already there, so.
Definitely. What about you, Warrior?
I was actually thinking the exact same thing. I thought it would be nice to run a Nihilus and Boba Fett. The reason for Nihilus is just because he's so dang tanky and he has the insta-kill, plus he's another dispeller for you to help with the other team. So he's kind of a must. And then you could put in R2 or you could put in Boba Fett. If you happen to have a Zeta Boba Fett, it's pretty damaging because he every time there's he kills someone, he gets 100% protection back. And so unless he's running against Sith, he seems like he's constantly finishing somebody off with his execute, and then he's back to having to start all over trying to kill him, and he can just keep mopping up the floor. But if you're going against Sith, obviously that would probably be the only time Sith Assassin could one-shot Boba actually because of his health so low. I've seen that actually myself. So, but the thing is with teams, if you're building a good composition, you really want very tanky characters, and that's why Jedi works so well right now, because they all have like 50,000 health and protection. So it takes forever to kill anybody on a team, and that's kind of what you're looking for. So a Nihilus would fit in that team real well. R2 fits in real well. Putting someone like Emperor Palpatine they're just too squishy. They're one hit and they're gone kind of thing. So,
What about you, Ranger?
Well, I mean, the team I run is with that team with Xylo and Nihilus, so everything that's about that has already been covered, so I really don't have much to add. Those are pretty much the characters you can run with that team.
Yeah, I've got a good question for you, actually. We spoke about this not too long ago. I think it was last week on the RSG stream, and this one's from Kento Marek. And I'm going to start this off with you, Ranger, because one, I think it's funny that I'm giving it to you, and it's a good question. So under a Rancor Tebow turn meter reduction team, is there any reason why Ewok Scout is not used? Because he does reduce turn meter.
Well, I mean, he does, but so do the other characters, and the other characters that do reduce turn meter are just better. They just do it better than he does, and they're just more effective with the damage that they can do. I mean, you should not invest in Ewok Scout unless you just have nothing else to farm. I mean, there's a ton of other characters that have been shown in videos by everybody here and other people of what teams work and why they work. I mean, Finn even did a video about it that's on our site, and he really breaks down the math and why you want certain characters because of the damage and turn meter and everything like that. And Ewok Scout, I mean, he can do that, but he just doesn't do it as well as all the other characters that you can use in the raid. So, I mean, Ewoks in general, they have niche places, but that's like Tebow and Chirpa. You know, the Ewok Scout is somebody you just, you know, if I wouldn't farm him. There's other characters you should probably farm first that will give you a better overall result in the Rancor raid than Ewok Scout.
Well, that's what us players think, but CJ must think he's important to put him on that 9B hard node.
I still, for the life of me, cannot figure that out. I mean, there's so many characters that could go there that are more viable. That don't. I mean, it's not like he didn't have other spots where you can farm him. So I've been trying. We've talked about this so much. Like, trying to understand what CG's trying to do. It's not like he just got reworked and we're like, oh, wow, you know, maybe we do need Ewok Scout. But he's got other places where you can farm him. And there's characters that do not have a node. And we're just like, that one baffled me a little bit. I mean, I don't understand why put Ewok Scout at 9B when there's so many other places to get him.
Yeah. They could have put Shaw there, couldn't they? Sure, trooper.
I mean, there's so many people they could have put there. You know, I mean, it is 9B. It is a hard node. You know, I mean,
he drops like Skittles in the Bronziums as well. He looks good.
Again.
They could have put Kylo's command shuttle in there, for God's sake. You know?
Yeah, they could have put anything but Ewok Scout.
They could have put Cassian's Ewing in there.
Yeah.
I mean, something.
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon.
But
you know, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, don't farm Ewok Scout unless you have nothing else to farm.
That's true.
Especially for the Rancor raid. Look at the videos. You'll see the breakdown of why those characters in those teams that are used work as effectively as they do. It's because of what they can do. The same as Ewok Scout with turn meter, but they do a lot more.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it comes down to, why do you run a Tebow lead in the Rancor raid? It's not because you've got all the other Ewoks around him. They gain nothing from really getting stealth. It's only Tebow that's gaining to remove turn meter, so running Scout next to him under a Tebow lead actually does nothing. So you could run Rex, you could run Qui-Gon Jinn, and they could all do a better job than Ewok Scout. What are your thoughts on it, Warrior?
So I do know a lot of people that still do free to play, and they use as one of their characters under Tebow, and they use the turn meter, 50% turn meter reduction, 50% of the time or whatever, 55% I think it is, 50% of the time with Chewie, and they're using Chewie on the Rancor raid, and I get it, right, because it's who he has and it's a turn meter reducer, and Ewok Scout does the same thing. So I could see if you're going to use Ewok Elder and Ewok Scout underneath Tebow, they're having a little fuzzy bear synergy that would kind of work better than using your Chewie. But like everyone said, there's just so many characters that do turn meter reduction. Wouldn't you want Qui-Gon Jinn? Wouldn't you want Rex? Wouldn't you want, Biston or Jyn Erso? I mean, there's many other characters you can get your hands on now that work so much better. I mean, I believe, other than Darth Vader, Jyn Erso is hands down the second best character for the Rancor raid right now, because not only does she remove 100% of turn meter, but she takes it for herself and uses it. So it speeds her up. She gets to use her other ability, which then could be to call somebody else who removes turn meter. And so, so many better options out there.
Guess what I seen the other day, right? This, I don't know if you guys have seen it done yet, but Jen soloed the raid on her own, and this is after any changes, and literally the leader they had was Wedge, Biggs, Jen, and Chase. They completed the entire raid, and I bet that would probably only took about 15-20 minutes, maybe less, to get through the entire raid. I was amazed when I
could see that easily.
Yeah.
I could see that easily.
So it's just, and she doesn't even need a Zeta. She's just hard to get. She's kind of like, pops up when you don't need her, then she'll be in the shard shop asking you, buy me, buy me, buy me. Well, the guild store, when you've already got her at 7 stars. But when you need her to get to 7 stars, she hardly ever shows.
Isn't that the way it works?
I know, you had the same
That's
thing.
the way Ray was, a year ago. Everybody wanted Ray.
Yeah.
And she was in the guild store, and you couldn't get her out of the guild store hardly ever. And it took like 4 months to get her from 1 star to 7 star type thing. And now it's Jyn Erso. He's taking that spot.
It's some Illuminati stuff happening, Smithie. I need you to look into that.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So this is, I got a question from Martin Waterman. I may take this question because it is a team that are pretty much run in the Fleet Arena, and then I'll pass it around if anyone else wants to put in any bets and bobs to it. The question is, I'm trying to run a target lock team, and I have a Vader, Biggs, but who else should I run, and who should I run as a backup? So what I actually do a target lock team, and I used to use Tarkin, but I went with the Mace, because on the offense it's a lot easier to pretty much use, and defensively it's okay, but you still have some bad AI that costs you some battles and stuff. But I've got Biggs, I've got TIE Fighter Pilot, I've also got First Order TIE Fighter Pilot. I've got them fully geared, so they go pretty much one of the first to go for a target lock. I'm currently working on 5s. He can open with a target lock on his special as well, and he has some really high speed. So the teams you could be looking at that target lock, just ones that are easier accessible. We're talking Biggs, you're talking Slave 1. You may want to take Slave 1 out and put him on the bench. You definitely want to be having Scimitar as your first reinforcement, then maybe followed by Sunfac as a backup, then as an end either JC or Slave 1. But the team I would normally build would be Vader, TIE Fighter Pilot, First Order TIE Fighter. So that's already 3 target locks. Biggs can target lock as well. Mace can target lock on his capital ship with a basic. He also attacks characters with target lock. And what I kind of do on the offense, I cheat the AI. I sit there and I won't kill their team because I know a Scimitar is going to be coming in. So I'll drop their health. That's what I'll do. I'll just go round of them, target lock each and one of them, and then just drop their health down slowly and just kind of spread the attacks out as much as possible. I'll put a target lock on Biggs, and then straight away I'll use the Foresight from my TIE Fighter with his Foresight, which gives buff immunity to target lock, so it's going to stop him taunting. And then I'm just going to target lock as many of them as I can, and I'm going to use then Mace's AoE just to keep 30Ks, 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 and just keep spamming it over and over and over. And then I'll bring in the Scimitar to clean up, or bring in Bulba just to do a big nuke attack to them all. But that's how I start off. What about you guys?
I'll go. I mean, for me, I use a Admiral Akbar lead, the capital ship, and then I run Biggs. I do target lock as well, but I use Biggs with Slave 1, which I disagree he should be in your starting lineup because he's an incredible ship that can do so much, and he does help with target lock. I run First Order TIE Pilot, and then I also run 2 call and assist ships because I want that damage in what they do. Jedi Counselor's one that I use for Biggs to keep his health up, and then the other one is just Geonosian Soldier because he hits hard, and that assist button, that assist, now it's random, but it's still nice, is the team. And then I run as my reinforcements Scimitar, of course, but then Ahsoka in case I need a Dispeller, if I'm running against a Mace fleet, and then TIE Pilot is my extra ship to come in if I need some DPS and stuff like that. I am working on Vader's ship, but the problem with Vader's ship is it's so squishy. I mean, I can nuke a Vader ship immediately in the first round if it hits hard enough. So you have to be careful with Vader. He is a great ship. He's one of the best ones for target lock. But yeah, if you're going to run target lock teams, there's a lot of them out there. But the one I run is just because I want Biggs to last a long time, and I get those additional assists and buffs and everything along with the target lock so that he lasts a lot longer. I mean, I do battles where it's like 5-0. Even with their reinforcements, I went about all the reinforcements and, their ships, and I didn't lose anybody just because of the way I have my lineup set up. So that's how I have my team set up. I hope that helps.
Nice. What about you, Warrior? What about you, Sir Loki?
Sorry, I had to take it off of.
Okay,
had to take it off of. So I actually run a target lock team too. I run an Admiral Akbar lead, and I have both of the TIE fighters in there, and I even Zeta'd well, not Zeta'd, but uh, you should Zeta the first order TIE pilot if you want the additional speed, because you can get him up to like 179 speed, which makes him the second fastest ship by doing that, and it gives you the edge. But the TIE fighter pilot's the fastest ship in the game. And he also has an ability that has ship Zetas that you can do that gives turn meter and whatnot. But I have Biggs as my one tank in my initial lineup, and I have Darth Vader, and I have him there strategically because once the target lock's on, it doesn't go away. And so that's the whole point of him. He's really not, he's squishy, I know, but Biggs is there. And so the name of the game is can you get your target lock on first before the other team? And that's where the TIE fighter pilot comes into play. It's the fastest, and he's going to go first. He's going to put target lock down 70% of the time. If not, first order TIE pilot's probably going next, and then he's going to do it. And what happens is the two of them get that up. Biggs taunts, and the moment you got a target lock team, Biggs is going to taunt indefinitely because it's like target lock, target lock, target lock, target. So he constantly is triggering that taunt. So he's going to get chewed through. They're going to be attacking your Biggs. Now under Akbar, the good news is your Biggs is going to be way, 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 way more durable, longer lasting, and probably not die. I actually almost never go into reinforcements and normally chew through a team in less than 2 minutes. And I have a very competitive ship shard. But I do have my Scimitar in my initial lineup, and the reason for that is I want to use my Scimitar, and I know that when he comes in off the bench, that's a great way for him to be able to be guaranteed to use his ability. But all he needs is one turn, and so nobody can kill mine on the first turn. It's just impossible because Biggs will get his taunts up before you can apply enough DPS. Plus, I've got Darth Vader up at front, and everybody sees him and freaks out, and they attack him first anyway. He's kind of decoy, so to speak. So he's going to taunt, and of course, it's going to target Biggs and the two first orders. And then first order TIE pilot, he's my damage dealer. He does 50 to 70,000 every single turn because everyone has target lock. Every single person he hits, he's strafing for 50 to 70k, and it resets. He hits for another 50 to 70k, it resets. He hits for another, and you can chew through, a 5 ship in 4 hits, or chew through another tank in three to 4 hits. So, and then my first in is Sun Fact because if I lose anyone, I lose my tank, which is Biggs. And then if on the off chance I lose another character, I have Boba Fett because Boba Fett comes in, can target lock and do his AoE. And if he comes in off the bench, he almost always clears the table of 3 or 4 characters on the other side. And then I have Jedi Consular as my last line of defense. So I do very well. I maintain top 10, and I always get number 1 at payout. And yeah, I like it. So Darth Vader, Biggs, both the TIE fighters, First Order and TIE fighter, and then Scimitar in my first 5.
Nice. What about you, Loki?
So yeah, I mean, I think we either run target lock teams or we don't, right? So I also run a target lock team, but I actually use Tarkin now because of the recent buff that he got. So anybody that comes off the bench as a reinforcement gets retribution. So I changed up my team a little bit. The initial lineup is going to be similar to everybody else's. It's both TIE fighters. I do have Biston in there with Vader and Biggs, and coming off the bench, I my first reinforcement I actually have Sunfac now because he does get retribution now coming off the bench. So he's gonna, when he comes off the bench and they attack him because he's gonna taunt himself, he's gonna spread target lock to everybody. It's kind of like that old combo everybody was trying to do in the beginning with Scimitar, and then you're trying to put retribution on your Sunfac, right? But now it can actually happen a lot easier, and it's more reliable, I think. So, and then my second reinforcement, I just I moved 5s actually to my second reinforcement because his basic can remove buffs if the opponent is target locked. So that's very helpful with him getting retribution off the bench. And then finally, I do have Jedi Counselor coming off to do the heals and the assist.
Nice. Because you could effectively run a team, and you could run kind of like a bit part team where you've got Biggs, the two TIE fighters, maybe swap out one for Vaders and use 5s and Scimitar all in the same lineup, because the Scimitar is probably gonna fight either on 5s or Biggs, isn't it, with the retribution stealth?
Yeah, I'm still playing around with it since the rework got dropped, right? I mean, that was so recent. So I'm trying to figure out what's optimal, but I'm definitely using Sunfact again. I was using him in the beginning, and now he's pretty good. And one thing to point out also, right? If TIE Fighter pilots, has probably the highest evasion in all the ships. So every time he evades an attack, then Tarkin gains turn meter on the capital ship, and we're all just charging up the TIE strike anyway. So that's basically how that team works.
Definitely.
I mean, TIE fighter pilot coming off the bench could help too, because he's going to get retribution as well, and I mean, I don't know. It's if he attacks too, then the capital ship gets turn meter or something like that. So I'm going to play around with it some more.
Yeah, man, I'm starting to love ships. Hopefully some new content is coming soon to it that we can actually do some stuff with it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I still need to get my Scimitar to 7 stars. But I'm working on 5s at the minute. I nearly got him to 7 stars. I need to gear him. Man, I'm at that point where he needs 250 Cabantes. I've got the stun guns. I got 150 stun guns and like stun cuffs and stuff like that when it was the double drop. So I made sure I went and got the valuable stuff. But I've got no Cabantes. I've got 120 Cabantes, right? And I need 250. What is this guy on? This is 5s. He needs a lot of Cabantes. And someone probably say, Smithie, you should already have 5s. I just never geared him up. I just thought there was other important things for me at the moment. When everyone was running him in raids, I just went the Phasma route. Just Phasma'd it. This question is from Jason, and this is for Warrior. I'm currently running a Rex lead Stormtrooper Han, Nihilus, Emperor Palpatine, and R2-D2. Who do I replace to fit Ahsoka Tano in?
Emperor Palpatine. Take him out for Ahsoka.
Spot on. Definitely. Good choice, man.
Yeah. He's got ridiculous turn meter with Rex and Stormtrooper Han. Plus, he has the tank with Stormtrooper Han and a second tank, sort of, with the false taunt with R2. So he's definitely you got to take a damage dealer out to put a damage dealer in. I really feel that way. You got to maintain integrity of the team you got. So Ahsoka, she's if you're gonna try her out, that's the route to go in my opinion. But I mean, you could try, taking out someone else. I just don't know who it would be.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that, team. It'd have to be, depending what happens with the nerf with Nihilus and how that, nerf or fix or whatever it's called these days when they change something, but it may not be worth running Nihilus anymore, is what I'm trying to say. I'd hate to see it, but if everyone's using triple cleanse stuff with tenacity, Nihilus isn't going to cut it unless he's in a Sith team, really, with Sith Assassin, because you need him to go off straight away to increase those turn meters. You're probably going to have to run B2 with him. You're probably going to have to... He's going to be a bit part character that's going to need something else in the future, because at the minute, his Force Drain can go through everything except for Foresight. It can be dodged, of course. But once they put that tenacity rule in, that it cannot go through tenacity, then Sharut and Baze are going to dominate him. So is Rex. But he's going to be one of those characters that you're just not going to be able to get the kick and the start up for him, because every time it's just going to be tenacity up. You're going to have to run someone else with him that's going to get rid of all those buffs. Imagine a Qui-Gon Jinn team that has Foresight and tenacity. You know what I mean? B2 is not going to really work off the bat. It's going to get rid of the Foresight, and you're still going to have the same issue that when it comes to Nihilus's turn, Yoda's going to be putting up that wall of tenacity. Do you guys agree? You guys, yep.
Yeah. I've seen a number of people running B2 lately with a chase, so that way they have both Baze doing their AoE dispel and Boba or B2 doing the dispel, and between the two of them, those two tanks, a non-taunting tank and a taunting tank, it works really, really well. And then you can stick in, Rex Lead if you want, or whatever you want, and then you can go with Chirrut, General Kenobi. I mean, you can mix up your other attackers and whatnot, but I've seen Boba B2 coming back into the thing, and he's such a good utilitarian character. There'll be times when he'll be the only character that you can pull in and fix a team.
Yeah, I've seen that picture actually, with someone put your face on B2.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was in the Facebook group, and I guess he got banned temporarily for doing that. I was actually going to comment on it, and because I thought it was cute, I thought it was funny, because I recommend B2 for like everybody on every one of my
What, he
roster
got
reviews. You
banned?
know, because I went to comment and tell him, it's all good. That's funny because I'm the B2 guy, right? I'm the one that recommends B2 all the time. And so in his post, it was like, this had to be done, and it had my face, and it was a good shot too. And he had it on B2, so I was B2, and I thought it was comical, but unfortunately, the group didn't take too kindly to it. They saw it as him being a jerk, I guess, or something. I don't know. And so my comment didn't go through, and I was like, "What the heck?" And evidently, the post was removed before I could comment to him. So yeah, it didn't bother me, but I love my B2, and until that point of reconciliation with B2 and don't understand him, you'll never fully understand why I embrace him. But Galactic War is really, really fun, but every so often I run into these nodes where somebody's stuck in Darth Vader lead, Zeta, with 4 tanks. And I don't care what I'm running. I got 12 different top end teams. I can't get through it. Darth Vader's laying dots down. It's critically hurt my team. I got 4 tanks constantly. This one's taunting. Now this one's taunting. Now that one's taunting. And they all have 100,000 health and protection. You just can't kill it. Well, you bring in B2 and you slaughter it. It's like he's that utility character you bring in to beat the hell out of teams that you're having trouble with.
Definitely. Like, I'm all up for my fun and games. I love laughs and stuff. Like, I randomly joined a guild in game. Just for kicks, just for fun, just like sneaked in the back door, no invite or no like acceptance was necessary. They left the gate open and Smithie D kind of ran through, and I joined the guild and it was like Smithie D has joined the guild, and they were like, are you the real Smithie D? And I was like, no, I'm just a fan. And pretty much I was like #1 fan of Smithie D, so I changed my name to his name, and they were like, oh, we don't like your name, you should change it then. Then I was like, what should I change it to? I like being called Smithie D. And they were like, maybe just Smithie or other names. And I was like, okay, I'll change my name. And I changed it to, I'm not really Smithie D. And then I was just like playing it along. There was one guy in there that was like, no, I know you're Smithie D. I know you're Smithie D and all this. And I was dropping like hints all the way through there. Then I just come out. We did a normal AAT. And one of them said, I bet you can't. Oh no, I'm waiting to see what damage you can do on P4, and I soloed the entire P4 on normal AAT, and like had 28 million damage, and I was like, no, I'm not Smithie D. And that was in a great guild, great guys, they were crying lightning. I still speak to one of them, the Enforcer, to this day, and it was a good laugh there. I'm currently back in BHG now, back with my old guild mates from the very, very beginning of when guilds were kind of like made with Jay and everybody. But yeah, it was great being in the guild, and it was funny just trolling, just having a laugh, saying, no, I'm not Smithie D. No, it's not me. And then at the end, I was like, I've got to go, guys. Oh, well, by the way, I am Smithie D, and left. It was funny. I'm glad you share my enthusiasm for funny things.
We don't.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I was actually laughing out loud, but then I realized my mic was on, so nobody could hear, or my mic was off. Nobody could hear.
Yeah, no.
That's a good one.
Yeah, no. I thought they would have kicked me because I scored 28 million. I thought they'd wake up in the morning because I think it was a UK guild, and like I must have stayed up till 4 a.m. just smashing the crap out of the raid. Literally like 28 million on normal AAT, and just like completely taken down phase 3. I think I did like 70% on phase 3, and I think, well, when I say solo, it was like 90% on phase 4. And I remember thinking, like, I was like, guys, you should get your teams in. You should do this, because I'm like literally finished it. And then I finished it and I looked and there's no answer for the last 2 hours as me typing away. Just like, you should get your teams in. I'm smashing through this raid and all this stuff. And there was no one there until the morning. I was like, oh my god, I've just soloed the whole raid. But they were cool with it. They found it funny. But I still told them I wasn't Smithie D. And I tried to go in first with the Kylo attack. And there me going, I'm going to solo phase 1. Then I'm going in with Kylo. And then I go in the second time and I'm like, huh? What's this? 3 attacks left. I was like, oh no, there's me like going in with Kylo to solo it. You only got 5 attacks on the AAT, man. But I've never done a normal AAT, so I wanted the experience just to see what works. And guys, the Zeta Finn kicks. You know, he really does really good there. And he's going to work great in the Heroic as well. But yeah, pretty much completed the entire solo of P4. I mounted it with a resistance team. Just literally just went through with R2D2. Destroyed it. So yeah, build a resistance team, guys. Because it will work in normal AAT. And you can pull it over to the Heroic. But yeah, I want to make some videos on it, on like transitions and stuff. So it was a good experience because I've never had it, you know, ever. I've never done normal AAT because I just refused to do it. I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. When it was first out, it looked really difficult. And then you had Heroic sitting over there, all nice, shiny with flowers, and General Kenobi saying, come over here, you know. So I was like, yeah, I'll go for the easier raid with General Kenobi. But yeah, so it was an experience. But one of the guys asked me to tell the story of the one time Smithie D joined the guild. So we're back to questions. Have you guys ever randomly joined a guild? Probably not. Am I the only guy that's done that?
When I first started, I joined random.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. So
I'm with the guild right now. I don't even speak Spanish, but they're a.
Do you use
They're
Translate?
based in. There's a bunch of guys from Mexico in it, so.
Okay. So,
No, there's one guy that's kind of like my. One of my guild mates is kind of like my translator, so he helps me out. But apparently, there's like been some drama and like the line chat blows up and. I don't understand any of it. It's great.
what you should do, you should invite...
The less I know, the better. You know?
Well, what you should do, this is what I used to do in my guild rooms, is randomly invite the line interpreter. And then everyone just like freaks out, like, what's going on? And every time they type something, it translates it to another language, and then just like, what? And some people don't know how to get rid of it, so you just leave it in there. Go to sleep. I used to do it. Like, I think I was the first one that did it in my guild room, and then everyone just copied and started doing it all the time. Just brought in just translators from different languages, and people would be like, "What's going on?" And it'd be it's funny. It's a funny troll method. So if you have line guys, invite a translator to the room that's a bot, and it will freak out any of the guildmates. They won't know what's going on if they haven't seen it, and it's classic to see. So this question I've got is from Mihai. Is Tano really worth it? I heard she works well with Sharut. What do you guys think? So we'll go. We've already covered the basis of what she can do, and we'll go over that in a quick summary. Yeah, she's going to work great with Sharut, Jedi, anybody that gives buffs. But is she going to be worth it? I know the answer to it. If anyone wants to jump in, I know Warrior's breaking it. First time ever, he's going to be breaking his payment virginity on a premium character. But I'll let you go with Warrior because you're going to be buying it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think for anyone who is a Dolphin or free to play, it's not worth it at all. And I'll probably have remorse in like a week after I've played through her and realized it's not as good as I thought she'd be. But if you've got a budget that you spend every month in the game, and you're one of those people that this is just kind of your hobby, instead of playing tennis or whatever, you actually play the game, and this is your thing, and you're an adult making money, you've got a budget, then why not? You can spend money in the game, and I think she will be worth it. I think she's going to be a very powerful force for the next 6 months in Arena. I think she will be meta changing, not meta defining. What I mean by that is like R2D2 was meta changing. Like Chase is meta defining. Like every team has Chase in it practically. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or Rex is meta defining. He is in 56 or 59% of all teams. R2D2 is not in that many teams, but he was definitely meta changing because once he came out, it started to kill a lot of the mall teams, and people started using them. And I think she's going to be meta changing, not meta defining, which means that she's going to be here for a long period of time, and you'll see her quite a bit, pretty popular. But if you're not a huge spender, don't worry about her. What I would do is just, if you're free to play or you don't spend a lot, just through the event and start to gear her up casually. Throw her in your favorites and just gear her up as you can. You can get her to gear 7 and 8 pretty easily, even free to play, pretty quick. And then through gear 8, 9, 8, 9, and 10, just spend the next 3 or 4 months, gearing her up casually when you can. When I say casually, I mean she doesn't have to be your first priority when there's other characters in the game. And eventually, 3 months, 4 months from now, you'll have her, at gear 10, 10 and a half, and then she'll be free to play as far as farm ability. You can go get her shards over the next month or so, and then you'll have a viable character. And so that's the way I would go.
Nice. I like it, man. I like it. What about you, Ranger? Are you dipping in the pot to get Ahsoka?
Nope.
I thought
Not
you
until
would.
Darth Revan comes out. Well, no.
Oh.
I mean, like for the stream, I may buy a pack or two just to show the pack, right? But I'm not going to spend a couple $100 on a character like that. It just doesn't make sense.
True, and she's going to be potentially in the hard shot. But you can pick her up in, 4 weeks, 6 weeks from the main shipments as well. So if you're patient and you want to go the other way...
Yeah, I may wait. Yeah, we'll have a Chromium day, and I'll probably try to go for her, and I'll end up with, like I did last night, with 50 Stormtrooper Han shards. So, and I'll make you happy.
Yeah, that was pretty... You got, 10 Sith Assassin, and that was it, right?
Yeah, but...
I got 10 Sith Assassin, Scout Trooper. I did get 10 of one of the Rebels characters, but 50 Stormtrooper Han shards. I was like, fantastic.
Yeah, the Chromium's getting kind of hard now because there's so many characters and there's so many shards in there now.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was.
Did you get any Phoenix?
Yeah, I got, what's his name?
Ezra? Kanan?
No, was it
Zeb?
Ezra Kanan?
No, he got Zeb.
It was Zeb. Yeah, 10 shards of Zeb.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh, that's quite funny. But no, I personally, I would never pull on Chromiums ever again. I remember the time when I was like, I wanted to get Sunfac, I wanted to finish my Leia, and I must have spent maybe $600, and all I got was Echo. The only 7-star freaking character I got, and I got like 450 shards of him. What is going on? And it was just Echo, 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 Echo. And that was the day that I'd never touched Chromiums. I have never brought a Chromium since then. And I find Chromiums are like addictive, especially for me. When I would pull one, I would feel like I need to pull another, and I need to pull another. And it's just, in my way, it just felt like the gamble, and it just feels like, oh, I didn't get a good pack there. I need another pack so I feel that I've just, justified.
That means you have an addictive personality. You need to get some help for that.
Well, that's why I don't buy Chromiums.
Well, at least with my Ahsoka packs, I'm going to be getting about 50% of the time those Omega pieces, so at least that'll make me feel a little better.
Well, yeah, but, there's some good in it, and as a character you like and want, then by all means, spend some money, but, you reach a point in new players, you will reach this point where Chromiums just don't make a lot of sense. You've got so many characters done that mainly you need shard shop currency, because that's really, when I've pulled Chromiums, the majority, if not most of the shards were characters already had, and they went right to the shard shop, so, and there's so many characters now. I mean, it's incredible. So, those packs, we've always talked about it, like those ones that are specific, like the Boba Fett pack or the Kylo Ren pack, where you get 80 shards and they're 4-star automatically. Those are pretty good buys. But you have to really want the character, and it has to be a character that's really meta-defining, as Warrior put it, for me to justify any kind of, spending on a character now.
Definitely. Yeah, well, I would love to buy Ahsoka, but with June's fan favorite, we don't know what it is, so it's kind of, for me, if I'm looking at a long term, then it's kind of going in blind, she's going to be a great character, and she's going to be great for raids, but it just depends what you want from her. If you want her to be that all-on character that she's going to dominate everybody, there could be a new character come out next month that makes her kit not as relevant. What do you think, Warrior?
I was actually just going to say that if you are into light side, go into her. Go all in. Well, this is sounding really pornographic at this point.
Go deep. Go deep into.
Get her from the
packs. Get deep in there.
Get into her. Get her from the packs. If you're light side, if you're a dark side lover, like you're. Oh my god, this is so R-rated right now. You guys know what I mean. If you're into,
just let it out.
If you're into the dark side, I can't say anything anymore without it sounding totally sexual now. But if you like dark side characters and you want the Sith, the Empire, and stuff like that, it's ebbing and flowing, right? It goes back and forth. So it was the Sith rework, and then it was the Rebels that came out, and then it was General Veers, and you know what I mean? It's like Ahsoka and Grand Moff Tarkin, and they're going back and forth between like light side, dark side, light side, dark side. They are bringing out Ahsoka like tomorrow or / in 8 hours or whatever. So in a couple of weeks or whatever, there's going to be another dark side rework or a dark side new character. There's going to be something like that. And so if you're a dark side person, then you would want to wait. And if you are into the light side, then you should probably go all in for Ahsoka, because she's probably the best thing for the next 3 months.
True that. Can't argue with that. So we've got a question from Mihai. So I think this is his second question. Are Rebels in meta anymore? I'm using Wiggs, Chase, and Bulba. Who should I replace? I think Rebels are pretty much going to be, if you get Ahsoka. But anyway, without them, they're still great.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, R2 brought them back.
Yeah,
R2 brought
take
back
Bulba out for
R2.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the meta report, the third most, team used is that Biggs Wedge. It's coming Wedge lead, or Biggs and Wedge combination with Chase. I mean, it's come back strong. I mean, it's almost overtaken Darth Maul or Sith-led team. Rex is still number one, of course, but yeah, it jumped up dramatically, and I think the addition of R2 and the addition of Ahsoka that team's going to jump up some more.
Yeah, it needs to, though, isn't it? Because a Rex lead versus a Rex lead mirror is, one, boring, two, it's quite difficult because you're a mirror match and you have to change it up. And the way players have done that is go in that Wedge lead with R2 in there and critting AoEs for like 18, 19, 20k. That's how a lot of people have solved that problem, is running a similar mirror team but taking out Nihilus and putting R2 and taking out Rex and putting Wedge in. Biggs is a great combination, but again, I think at the moment it's up in the air with the arena. Not many teams really hold, and that's because of how well attacking and what a team brings. If you look at Shrewd and Baze, now they're more accessible to everybody as well. They do like 5 characters jobs between them. They're everything that you need in the game. And you look at more people are getting General Kenobi. He does probably like three what 3 characters could do or something. And the Maul shaped things up. The Maul meta changed everything, and it's just where we are now. It's just growing and growing, and all these premium characters are coming free to play. It may stay the same for a while because the Phoenix squad ain't going to change anybody. Anybody that feels that Phoenix are going to be the meta, without any Zetas on them, they're not really. They're quite underwhelming in this team, You could probably run a hybrid, but it comes back to Sharu and Baze. Poor Phoenix squad, eh? They come in at the wrong time.
It's not that they came at the wrong time. I just think the design of the characters and what they do, and that's what really hurts that team. It's not when they launched it. It's how they launched the characters with their stats and abilities and all these other things. It was different, and I give CG credit for introducing the characters in the game, but that's going to be hit and miss. when you do that kind of stuff. But it is disappointing because Rebels is really a popular series. The characters are really popular, and they're just not really playable other than here and there in certain instances. I mean, Ezra is viable in Jedi teams, but the other characters you just don't see them because they're just not viable, and that's the disappointment because there are a lot of people that would love just to play with the characters they see on TV and really like to play with, and they can't because you're going to get crushed.
Yeah, well, what they remind me of, and this could be the case, I don't know, I don't work for CG, and if I did, I probably wouldn't be able to say anyway, but I think they've been sitting on a shelf for 7-8 months. Their design has probably been there since August, September time, when the show was first introduced, because one, they've got no Zetas on them, two, they seem like a team that would have been fitting for a meta in October. Rebels were big then, wasn't they? If we remember, Rebels and Empire were quite a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think they've been sitting on a shelf where they haven't, I'm going out on a limb here, I don't know. But in my opinion, from looking at them and looking at the structure of the game, I think they've been sitting on a shelf since maybe October, November time. And they've just been sitting there collecting dust. Because if we remember at that time, how they were releasing characters was tournaments, pretty much. How do you introduce 6 characters back then? Through tournaments, or what was... You had the Rogue One drop in. It's... How do you introduce it? And I think that's been there, that concept, and I think maybe they just had to get them out, and they'll probably rework them later down in the line, give them some Zetas, but it was then or that never, put them in, because we've got the new season coming at the end of the year. It's already being teased through trailers.
Yeah, the final season.
That's it. So I think, they could have been sitting on it thinking, how can they migrate into the game? So much has changed as well. You had the Zetas come in. How would they perform? And I just think they're the wrong team. They're the right team for the wrong time. And I think they would have been great if they come out October last year when the season launched, when it was fresh, or around that time. But at the same time, it would pull all the atmosphere away from the Rogue One team, because pretty much they do what the Rogue One does, except for no Sharut and base. The survivability is very similar to a Zeta Gen lead, and I just think that they probably were a team that was designed way before, because if we have a look, where they put them in was right in the heart of the mole meta. You can't put a team like that.
It was right after they'd launched, they'd launched Nihilus and Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper. And then they launched the Rebels. And everyone was excited because, yay, Rebels! And then I remember when we were on the show talking and looking at their abilities and stuff. Of course, everybody thought Hera was going to be OP, which turned out not to be. But we were kind of underwhelmed by their abilities and things of that nature, and we were like, well, let's wait and see. And then when we saw, we were like, So, I mean, I don't know if that was the case with CG. But I would like to see them get reworked. They should be a much more cohesive and more powerful little group of characters. And I think, they need to do that for the fans, because you need to make certain characters in this game need to be fun to play with.
Yeah.
If Jedi Luke was in, or, Vader, those mainstay characters that draw people to this game, they need to be accessible, they need to be viable, and they need to be fun, right? And Rebels falls into that category. Certain characters like Ewok Scout or Cup, no one cares. But people come to this game because they want to play as the Emperor. They want to play as Darth Vader, and wreck shop. But they can't really do that with some of the characters, and Rebels is like that, and it's unfortunate. But I'm sure they'll get it squared away.
Definitely. What do you think, Warrior? Okay, if Warrior's not there. Okay. Yep.
No, I agree with Ranger on it. I'm sorry, I was looking at the update that they put on the forum. So.
Well, there's an update.
There's the event schedule, and one of them is redacted on it. So I'm going back to our little conversation we had about what events do we want to see coming. So the definition of redacted is basically to bring together as one, and maybe it's alluding to the fact there might be a guild versus guild coming. I don't know.
What does it say?
It just says that it's got the word redacted on it, and that's it.
What does redacted mean?
Oh, to bring. Well, I mean, I just googled it right now when I was on mute, but it's to bring together as one. So don't know what that means, but it might be alluding to the fact what we were talking about earlier.
What's the date for it?
Sometime in June. That's all it says. It's in between an Omega battle and something else, but it's it's officially announced on the event schedule on the official forum.
I have to check that out.
But anyway, yeah, going back to the character thing, I mean, if I was a new character and I was like, oh look, the best character is Rex and Chase and all that, and it's like you got this whole Star Wars universe, right? I'd be a little disappointed as well. I mean, I don't think Force Arena is doing any better. I think they're doing Galaxy of Heroes. I don't play Force Arena.
Oh, this game's thriving. Did you see the newest write up on it?
Yeah, but going back to Force Arena, they do have 2 versions of Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber, and at one time I remember Farm Boy Luke with the lightsaber in Force Arena was very OP, and it hasn't been that way here. It's Rex has been the meta since he came out, and I hate to say it about Ahsoka, but I think her attack, right, the multi attack, it can crit 9 times or something like that, or 10 times. Is that going to feed a Rex-led team turn meter? I think it will, right? So, did it make Rex lead better? To put it up against Ahsoka? I mean, but yeah, I mean, going back to Ranger's point, these staple characters need to be fun and they need to be competitive, and a lot of the staple characters are either they got outdated kits or they're just not fun to play. So you got to play with Baze and Chirrut and Rex Lead and General Kenobi, and I mean General Kenobi is a fan favorite, so I can't complain about him. But I mean, Baze and Chirrut, I mean, who are they for the last 20 years, right? Nobody. So
true.
40 years, whatever. So, but yeah, I agree with what Rick said.
See, now that's going through my head. Maybe it's the Luke talking to me, but why isn't Jedi Luke got Ahsoka's kit? With the dots immune to it, Maybe I'm just thinking outside the box, or just being like, where is Jedi Luke? Yeah.
Well, we still have to go on the journey. You have to wait, Smithie.
That's true.
The journey.
But that's what works for me too, right? I mean, there's, they release these new characters. I mean, they're big headliner characters, right? I mean, the Rebels characters, they're headliner characters because they are the main, crew in the cartoon. But I mean, their kits are just, what happened, and that's why, hopefully when Ahsoka comes out, she's good, right? I mean, but it's going to be tough to beat the Rex teams in Arena. It's tough.
So technically she's from the release of the Rebels for sure, because she's from the Rebels, but the reason why she got the kit she got is because Darth Vader and her have a tangle. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, she kicks Darth Vader's butt pretty good, and the building comes down and everyone thinks that she's dead, and come to find out she's not dead.
What fight were you watching?
I know.
She got her ass handed to her.
She did, yeah. She got battered by Vader. She only got one lucky strike on him.
She did something. Yeah, she did a great move.
She broke his helmet in half, dude, and she did flips over him while he stood there like a bump on a log.
Vader's a brute. He takes damage. That's what he does.
He was just sitting there like, he pushed her all the way outside, and you could see she was struggling at that.
Yeah,
I don't think Vader.
She fatigued quick.
At the beginning of the fight, yeah, she was really quick. She caught him off guard a little bit at the beginning of the fight, but as soon as he adjusted, which is what Vader does, she just
she couldn't parry the attacks, could she?
Pushing her back. Yeah. I mean,
fatigued.
she was struggling there, and then he force pushed her off. And I do give her credit. She's one of only few characters ever that have actually got a hit on Vader, and it was pretty epic.
I don't know. Vader's
But,
in EU, Vader used to take damage all the time. Just literally, all got his mask melted off him, his mask thrown off him, and he would just carry on fighting. So him just having a little scratch on his cut on his helmet is nothing compared to what he's had in previous stuff. He's had his arm cut off, he's had his legs cut off, and he's just carried on fighting and killing them. Just like literally just force crushing everybody. The worst thing about Vader is getting him mad, getting him to that point where you pee him off, and then that's it. It's over. It's over. Yeah, that's it.
And I also think he was hesitant with Ahsoka because he knew who she was. She wasn't quite sure who he was, and
it's shame, isn't it?
That it is. I still want to know what happened, and they did say that. I have a feeling they're going to resolve that story. But that's one of the best fights in all of Star Wars, just because of the emotionality of it, of Ahsoka and Vader. These two friends, brother and sister kind of relationship. Ending the way that it did, and we don't know how it truly ends, but we'll see what happens. But I mean, just for a slight hesitation there when he calls her name, Anakin was kind of coming up a little bit, but then Vader took back over, and he was going to kill her, and that's the sad thing.
She was just stopping. She was just stopping him from stopping Ezra. That was her main purpose, was to keep him busy so the rest could leave. She wouldn't have lasted if that building didn't collapse down. That would have been it. She'd have been over. She fatigued very, very quickly in the fight, especially against Vader with all the power from his strikes. There's not many Jedi that could take the Force blows, and not in a battle where he can just change his combat style, adjust his saber. She got that one strike on him because she ran from behind, and literally that's what it is. He underestimated her and just thought she was nothing, left her where he went out after Ezra, and he was more occupied in Ezra and the holocron and everything.
Oh yeah,
like
that holocron.
That was it. That's what his main was, and Ezra was just Ahsoka was just in the way, so he got her out the way, and he didn't expect her to come like she did, and she got that strike on him. But if you have a look when she did that strike, she went flying on the floor, and it took her a while to get back up. She was fatigued. That was one of her last blows she could do, and that was it. She was on the floor. She could hardly get back up because she was tired, and Vader still had a lot left in him. He was just still ready to go, and he wasn't even angry yet. Get him angry, and then that's it. He'll just boom. But yeah, when that all come down, I think that maybe that she died. At the end, maybe she's going to come back as the rumored wolf. I don't know.
I don't know.
That would be weird, wouldn't it? Maybe that's why Ahsoka's in the game right now, because, spoiler alert, she's probably going to be coming back as a wolf.
I hope not. That would be so disappointing.
It would.
God, don't do that.
But it comes back to the mother and daughter. Well, the daughter, isn't it? Those birds.
Yeah, the Celestials, the Force users, the sister, the brother,
and then it comes
father.
back to Bendu, doesn't it? That he's able to transform.
Yeah.
So it could be, she could be a being, something else, because you've got Obi-Wan that's one with the Force, Yoda that becomes one with the Force. What says that Ahsoka can't transform? Now, I don't know, it'd be weird.
I don't know.
But, hey, Disney are expanding the story in many ways that some consider unnatural.
Good.
Yeah. I want to see more expansion on Vader, though. I want to see another movie. Vader, they gotta get a movie out for Vader. Come on, they teased it at the end. I was just sitting there like, oh, when he just like, and I wanted more. I wanted more, and I think that's probably saying the same for everybody. Everybody that's seen Rogue One, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, then I don't really want to.
Why are you watching the show?
Yeah. But yeah, I think everybody wants more, and I think it's horrible of Disney just to tease that and not give what a Vader movie could be, because that would be badass, especially after he just turned from Anakin and the build up to maybe 5 years of Vader's life, maybe hunting Obi-Wan, because we all know that's what he's been doing. He's been hunting, looking for Obi-Wan. They've got rid of a lot of the canon stuff, well, the EU stuff. and they bring out the whole new story out. I want to see an entire story of Vader after Revenge of the Sith. Maybe not straight away, because he'd probably be whining.
Well, they
still.
could do like they could maybe do the book, The Lords of the Sith, right after Revenge of the Sith movie, where, that book would be a great story. Or they could go a few years after that and do some stories of him hunting Jedi's or something like that. There's a lot of ways they could go with that story with Vader.
Definitely, man, definitely. So we're gonna go back to some questions because I could sit here talking about Star Wars. Me and Ranger just we just talk. We do it on your stream as well, don't we? We just end up going off and start talking about lore and stuff. So this is from Gathan. Out of the Rex leadership, Nihilus, General Kenobi, Chase, who should I replace Ahsoka for, or anyone at all? I think we're all in agreement that maybe Nihilus may probably have to go at that team if you're building that Ahsoka team. Would you all agree, or would you go with something different in that team?
No, that's good.
Yeah?
Good.
What would you do?
Yeah, that's probably the same.
Yeah, I think Nihilus. I think you're going for that quick. This is the difference of changing the team, and I'll explain to why you would take Nihilus out. Nihilus is a character that you go for the long game, and that's where you build a Rex lead, that's where you build a Shrewd and Baze, and that's why you build a General Kenobi, because it's the long game. And that's what it's about, is the long game. You want to get... He's going to have to take, 3-4 turns or something to do an Annihilate, or maybe get to 2 Annihilates or more, depending what you get kind of from the Force drain. But that is the concept behind that team. It's a team that's built to last. You're taking out Nihilus, putting in Ahsoka, you're making your team into a quick, bang team, where it's about taking them down quick, because Ahsoka can open up, do her special ability on her first turn, then do an attack, then in 2 turns later maybe she can do the same again, and it's a repeat and rinse. So essentially you're going to be able to use her ability 3 times, maybe faster than 2 Annihilate. So it's just a quicker DPS team, and that's where you take out Nihilus. Increasing the cooldowns is cool, but I just think if you're going for a team where you're just going pure out, just going for the pure attack like Ahsoka, you want to get it over and done with as quick as possible, because she's not durable. She's not going to last an entire round. She hasn't got the health, the protection of what Nihilus has got, and she doesn't have a slow build-up. Would you guys agree with that concept?
No, quicker, more seductive.
What about you, Warrior?
Yeah, I completely agree with that assessment as well. You're pretty on point tonight.
Thanks, man. Wasn't that on point last week?
Like I think you did.
Thanks, man. Let's have a look. So, I'm going to throw this one at you, Warrior. This is from Big Fish Bluntmaster 2. Cool name. Who would you place as a 5th in this team? I'm trying to build a Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, double Zeta R2, General Kenobi, only 6-star, and 1 Zeta Yoda. And who?
So that 5th slot could go to Ezra, it could go to Jedi Knight Anakin, it could go to Ayla Secura, and it could go to the brand new Ahsoka Fulcrum.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. But if not, who else would you put? Anakin, maybe?
Yeah, Jedi Knight Anakin is one of the strongest for the amount of damage that he does. Ezra's great too, but most people don't have Ezra at 7 stars. But Ezra does ridiculous damage. But if not Ezra, then Jedi Knight Anakin. And if you want extra stuns, because you already have R2 stunning, but if you want to really have a stun team, throw Ayla in there. But Jedi Knight Anakin's probably the best defensive character to place in that 5th slot.
Cool, definitely. Any of you other guys want to put in anything, Ranger?
No, quicker, more seductive.
What about you, Loki?
No, I agree. I'm Anakin would be on top of my list. There's a couple of Jedi
teams that I face in my arena squad, and Anakin just comes out of nowhere with that AoE like he always does. It also helps that R2 is on that team as well, because he'll do the smoke screen, and then Anakin will be stealthed. And then, everybody runs GK at the top end of the arena. So, General Kenobi's going to give the retribution. And, if Anakin is stealthed and he keeps doing his AoEs, he's going to be hard to take down. He's going to do a lot of damage because he's got a lot of offense from that Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn lead. So, Anakin would be on top of my list, and then it'd probably be Anakin, Ezra, and then Ayla, and then that would be my order of putting it.
Definitely nice. So we've got another Ahsoka. I should have put Ahsoka in the background. Why have I got Bespin Luke with Vader? I should have put Ahsoka.
What about it?
I was thinking, because Ahsoka comes out tomorrow, and I've got Luke in preparation for August. I don't know if that was a pun. The next event carries on in August, but. I see what CG are doing here. But anyway.
Hey, Smithie, I got time for one more question, then I got a jet.
That's it. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up after this question anyway. So, this is from Raptin. Is running Fulcrum with Cassian Andor a good idea? Because Cassian spreads his buffs to Rebels, and then Fulcrum picks them all up. Yeah. Definitely.
He does the most buffing of any of the Rebels, but he requires an entire Rebel team. So you need 4 other of the Rogue One Rebels, because he only buffs the Rogue One Rebels. The buffs he gives goes to his Rogue One team. So you want Ahsoka on there, but you definitely want to have the other Rogue One Rebels so he can give all 4 of the buffs he's potentially capable of giving.
Definitely, but the big issue with it is that you got to run with K2SO, isn't it, to get the starting buffs.
Yeah, K2SO stacks. I mean, you'd have to replace K2SO with Ahsoka, which kind of sort of defeats that purpose, yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? Loki?
No, I agree. I agree with what Warrior said. I'm just waiting for her to just show up. I mean, I want to see her working, and then, I just want to. I want to see it. I guess is what I'm anticipating.
Definitely. No, that's cool. So we're going to leave it at that, and we're just going to go around the house, and because Ranger needs to go first. Ranger, where can everybody check you out? What you've been doing lately, and,
Well, I've been playing with my new lightsaber from our good friend Sir Loki. But besides that, we are the Reality Skewed Gamers. You can check us out on YouTube. We have our channel. We stream every Wednesday and Saturday. And you can check out everything there. We do other stuff with other games and put out content. Not like you crazy guys, but we do put out some content out there for videos of raids and stuff like that. But yeah, check us out. We stream every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And that's it.
Awesome. Nice one. And where can we find you, Loki?
Man, he took off quick. I was going to throw a couple punches at him, but he literally left.
He went to play with his lightsaber.
I was going to ask him if he was in his backyard, doing the Obiani flourish. I want to see that video.
Well, you could hear the birds, couldn't you, chirping in the background? So, I bet he was dying. He was like triggering his finger. He's just all like, I've got to leave the chat. I've got to leave the chat. Oh.
Who's that?
Oh,
Ranger.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yes.
So you want to know what's funny, right? Going back to our little comments earlier, the sound font on that lightsaber I gave you, it's actually called Dark Meat. And I'll leave it at that.
Dog.
Good.
But thank you again for having me on, and you can check me out on YouTube. It's Sir Loki, Sirloki. So I just do a lot of arena trials against meta teams. You can see how I put a bunch of I change my arena team like 4 or 5 times a day, so it's really fun. And just want if you want to check out different fights and battles and see how teams do against the meta, then check out my channel. I also do some tank videos as well, and started putting up my lightsaber build. So if you're interested in building your own lightsaber, check out my videos, and then drop me a comment, and I'll help you out.
Or you can pay Loki to do it. Large quantities of cash. He deserves it.
I don't mind helping out.
Republic critics will do fine.
No, they won't.
Hey, Ranger. So I was asking Smithie. We need the video of you in the backyard doing the Obi-Wan flourish from Episode 3. You got to get your whole choreograph down and put it up on the RSG stream. So.
Do which one now?
Episode 3. You know the flourish that.
Oh well, he's already got a video.
That one, yeah.
He's already got a video. Do you remember Star Wars Kid? If anyone
We were talking about that yesterday. That kid ended up being like a lawyer now. He's like a high class. Isn't he in UK?
I don't know, but I know that whoever didn't he sue the people that made his karate session into double bladed lightsabers.
Yeah, it's like he became a lawyer, and then yeah, he's I think it was. I mean, kudos to him, right?
I can just imagine it now that he's doing this, and then someone takes it, makes a pardon, then he's like, at last I will reveal myself. At last I will have revenge, and he goes to law school. He comes out of law school, then sues him. And he's just got like pictures of himself with lightsabers that they've made, and he's put them on a clipboard, and he's just got paper clippings about new, like, 1 million views, this Star Wars Kid, and he's just like, at last I will have revenge. And then didn't he win and take all their money or something? I don't know what happened with it, but
no, I think something did. So.
Yeah, because it's crazy. And Warrior, where can we find you, buddy?
On YouTube, that's where I'm always at. So I got lots of video content coming out, and I'm sure this weekend will be busy, but I'm sure I'll have a number of videos on Ahsoka, probably a pack video to see what my drops were in that pack, so people can kind of see whether they want to go all in on her or not. And I'll probably do the event just so people can see what the event is. I'm sure the event will be easy because they'll give you everybody you need. They'll give you her to fight herself, probably, something like that. And yeah, so I'll have a few videos out this weekend. Sounds like fun.
Damn, I need to find somebody now that's going to buy these Ahsoka packs. well, just like 7-star, so I can get some footage of her. It'd be great to make some footage of her in the arena with different teams as well. But yeah, no, we're going to leave it at that. If you're new to the channel, then make sure that you're subscribing if you enjoy this content, because I don't put these Q&As onto the forums really, so you won't see this coming up. I put a lot of my videos on the forums, but I don't really go out and put any Q&As because it's kind of a different style. They're a live stream, and maybe I've done it once or twice, but I don't really tend to do it. So if you want to see more, then make sure that you are subscribing. Make sure that you want to check out the other great content, because the great thing about this game is we may cover the same thing, but we've definitely all got different personalities, and that's the main thing. I did a video on speed mods and probably wasn't the best delivery because at the end yesterday, I was referring to the gear 11 with not gaining the speed, and I didn't say it. I was just like, do you think this is a bug? Or do you think it's working as intended? Let me know in the comments below. And then I got like, no, it's all working as intended. I was thinking, I already know that all mods are the same kind of thing. But it was just the wrong delivery. I completely forgot I explained it at the beginning, but it was just kind of like explaining for anybody that didn't know about the mods. And it was just speed mods in general. But hey ho, you live and learn. I just need to make sure I write down on a piece of paper that I cover the topics and say, so on the completed gear levels, do you think this is a bug? Or do you think it's working as intended? I know what it is, but what do you guys think? But yeah, I think going forward, it was bad delivery on me. I got a lot of comments and hate comments. I nearly cried. But anyway, we're going on that, and it's like 2 a.m. here. So thank you very much for watching and joining us for this lovely dark show of the Dark Lords. As always, may the Force be with you.